Hey everyone, Nigel and Luke here, and welcome to another edition of Crimes of the Week.
Detectives in Las Vegas say they're dealing with a homicide case after a body was found in the desert northeast of the city on Monday. The body was discovered shortly after officers received a call about a man lying in an area between Las Vegas and Clark Peterson Boulevards. Though the case has been ruled a homicide, investigators say that due to environmental factors, they will need more time to determine exact cause of death. They have also declined to release the victim's name at this time. Authorities are encouraging anyone who may have witnessed suspicious activity in the area between January 24th and 25th to contact the Las Vegas Police Department.
A woman in Arizona is lucky to be alive this week after she was attacked at her home by two prison escapees. The terrifying incident unfolded on Thursday morning when escaped convicts John B. Sharpio and David T. Harmon arrived at the home of Luis Alvarez and his wife, intent on stealing money in a vehicle. One of the inmates crawled through the home's large dog door and began to attack Alvarez's wife, while the other waited outside. When she managed to momentarily break free from her attacker and run outside, she was dragged back in by the second escapee. Thankfully, Alvarez was alerted to the incident by his wife's screams and ran from the nearby field he was working in to confront the attackers. He fought them until he was able to grab the attention of a passerby, who called 911. The escaped convicts fled, but were easily tracked down by police and taken into custody. Alvarez's wife was taken to hospital with significant injuries, but has since returned home. She has been understandably traumatized by the incident, but Alvarez says that he is getting her counseling. He says he is thankful they are both alive.
A tragic story was reported out of Pennsylvania last week when the bodies of 4 family members were found at the basement of their home. The victims were identified as 50-year-old Deepak Kulkarni, 47-year-old Arti Kulkarni, and the couple's 2 children, 14-year-old Subhan and 17-year-old Sharvil. All had died from apparent gunshot wounds. The terrible scene was discovered after members of Arti's family drove over to their home after not hearing from them for several days. When there was no answer at the front door, the relatives called police. The situation became even darker when it was announced that the case was believed to be a murder-suicide committed by Deepak Kulkarni. The father allegedly bought a gun just 2 weeks before the killings. Though neighbors were shocked by the incident, they said that the usually friendly and chatty man had not been himself in recent days. Police say the situation is still under investigation.
On Saturday, police announced the arrest of a suspect in the 17-year-old Connecticut cold case murder of a teenage girl. 52-year-old Willie F. Robinson has been charged with the 2004 killing of 16-year-old Jessica Keyworth and is now being held on $2 million bail. So far, investigators have not specified what evidence led them to suspect Robinson, but say that they were aided by DNA evidence and forensic science. According to reports, Jessica Keyworth was visiting friends and family in Connecticut on the night she was killed. She arrived in Waterbury late on the night of May 30th, 2004 to meet up with a classmate, and was found dead in the basement stairwell of an apartment building the next morning. An autopsy later determined that she had been strangled to death. The apartment building was reportedly just blocks away from where Robinson had been living at the time. Currently, it is unknown whether Robinson and Keyworth had any prior connection before the murder.
Police in St. Paul, Minnesota are currently investigating a triple shooting that left 3 people dead this Saturday. Authorities were called to the scene just after 3 p.m., where they found the victims suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. 2 of the victims, a woman in her 30s and a girl in her early teens, were pronounced dead at the scene. The third victim, a boy between the ages of 8 and 12, died from his injuries after being rushed to hospital. Though the exact circumstances around the shooting remain unclear, the incident allegedly took place just 1 hour after a welfare check had been conducted at the residence. A woman who interacted with police during that visit is believed to be the 30-year-old victim. Investigators say they are currently searching for the person or people responsible for the killings.
A would-be thief got more than he bargained for this weekend when he tried to rob a Plainfield, Indiana bakery and was fought off with a barrage of food and other objects. According to reports, 25-year-old Matthew Marshall walked into the Two Chicks Whiskey business on Saturday afternoon, dressed in a ski mask and gray pants. After locking the door behind him, he grabbed at his hip as if he had a gun and attempted to rob the place. However, the owners and employees responded by hurling food and other items at Marshall, causing him to run from the store. All he managed to get away with was a tip jar. It didn't take long for investigators to catch up with Marshall, thanks to a witness who managed to take a photo of him fleeing the scene, which was handed over to police. Marshall is now in jail after being preliminarily charged with criminal confinement and robbery.
A 12-year-old boy is in custody this week after he allegedly struck a Maryland police officer with a stolen vehicle during a traffic stop. The incident began around 1 a.m. on Friday when police pulled over 2 stolen cars near Marlboro Pike and Brooks Drive. The 12-year-old, who was driving one of the cars, reversed suddenly, pinning the officer between 2 vehicles. He then sped off. Police were able to catch up with the young boy a short time later, and he was arrested and taken to hospital with minor injuries. The officer suffered a broken leg and possibly a broken foot, but is expected to recover.
Police in Northern California are investigating a bizarre and gruesome incident that unfolded this weekend after a man barricaded himself in an apartment with a gun and the dead bodies of 2 women. Making matters worse, he live-streamed the entire ordeal to Instagram. According to reports, 29-year-old Raymond Michael Weber engaged in an 8-hour standoff with police, following reports of his activity on social media. In the disturbing footage, Weber could allegedly be heard saying that the women had set him up, and that it would be the last time he would ever be seen again. After hours of unsuccessful negotiations between Weber and the police, officers used unspecified distraction devices and chemical agents to coax Weber out of the apartment, before they entered and subdued him with a stun gun. He was then taken into custody. Currently, the cause of deaths of the women are unknown, and their names have not been released. At the time of the incident, Weber was wanted on an outstanding warrant for various felonies, including battery and assault with a deadly weapon. It is not yet clear whether Weber will face murder charges. That's it for this edition of Crimes of the Week. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Crime Zone for more true crime content like this, making sure to hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest releases. Thank you for watching.